Hey YouTube, AR-15 guy here. So I wanted to go over some things real quick. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the stand your ground laws. Now, there's some confusion on what stand your ground means. A lot of talking with people, get a lot of things where people are like, oh, well, the stand your ground law is meant for the home, being able to stand your ground within your own home and not having to retreat inside your property or your vehicle. Yes and no. That one is more commonly known as the castle doctrine, that your home is your castle and that you can stand your ground, protect your home and your property, your family, inside your home. The stand your ground law kind of takes that a step further, and it says any public place that you have a right to be in becomes your domain, and you have the ability to stand your ground. Are not forced to retreat in a place that you have a right to be. Now, everybody's talking about changing the stand your ground laws. I don't think that's a good idea. What that does is open the door to bullying. What I mean by that is you've got somebody who is in a public place and somebody comes up to confront them. That person that's being confronted now has an obligation to leave the situation. And so now people who don't like certain people or don't like certain things or don't want to engage in certain whatever, whether it be racial, sexual orientation, whatever the case may be, is it opens that door for people to bully another person because they know that they have now an obligation to retreat. They no longer have the ability to defend themselves and defend their person. They have an obligation to retreat. So you are just adding fuel to this fire for bad behavior. You're adding more reason for people to commit bad behavior because there's no consequence to it. I'm not going to go pick on somebody who I don't really like because you know what? They may have a gun. They may be able to kick my butt. But that dynamic changes if I now know that lawfully they have to leave the situation, that they can't apply any force or any kind of deadly force to protect themselves. So I think that we need to be very cautious before we start jumping to conclusions about the stand your ground laws. The stand your ground laws, to me, translate into anti-bullying laws. Just because, let's take it this way. Some person sees two lesbians or two gay men kissing and they don't like it, and he's got a couple of friends with them. They can now go over and bully those people into leaving that situation, and they have an obligation now to retreat. What is that teaching us? So let's think of all the implications that this may have before we jump to irrational decisions and irrational and emotional choices and laws and changing of laws. We've got to think of the broad spectrum. Are there anti-hate crimes? Yes. But that is going to be prosecuted after the situation, not during the situation. The stand your ground law gives everybody the ability to stand their ground, protect themselves where they have a legal right to be in a public place. So let's take this seriously and think about the implications before we just go changing things up. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to clarify some things. I wanted to put some perspective out there that maybe people hadn't thought about and rationalize the situation. Every scenario can be used for good or bad, And that's where our courts have to kind of come in. Whether you're okay with what happened in Florida or not, you have to realize that no matter what we do, we cannot legislate perfection. We cannot legislate so nothing bad ever happens, because that's not human nature. The only way to do that is giving people the tools to defend themselves, to protect themselves, to be individuals. And the more that you empower the individual to take care of themselves, the less likely there is going to be a chance for somebody to come in and take advantage of that person. Because if they know that they're going to be met with force, then there's a good chance that they're not going to commit that. That's a pretty good deterrent. If I involve myself in a situation that is going to make that person feel threatened, then I may get shot. That's a pretty good deterrent. So we need to look at this at all sides of the coin. We need to make sure that we're making rational, honest conversation and not emotional decisions based purely on emotion and not on any logic. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you later.